What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. We're going to get into AEW Dynamite from February the 5th, 2025. An okay show thanks to Mariah May, Toni Storm, Harley Carmen, and MJF and Dustin Rhodes. Everything else on the show was not good, and it was a waste of time. For the most part. So we kicked the show off with Jay White. He's backstage with Renee Paquette in the parking lot. He talks about his budding partnership with Edge. And he's about to address the Death Riders. And then there's a massive brawl that ensues that lasts for a good 5 to 6 minutes. So then Edge gets on the mic. He calls out Moxley for a title shot at Revolution. So Moxley gets inside the ring. He gets on the mic and he says that Edge deserves nothing and gets nothing. The answer is no. So then Jay White gets on the mic and then he challenges Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli to a Brisbane street fight tag team match at Grand Slam Australia. And that was it. So this is fine. It actually does make sense. Actually, this should be Jay White versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, since Australia is not too far from New Zealand. So, yeah. But the Australia show is bad. This Grand Slam show that they're doing in Australia has been a total letdown. Fans feel scammed and ripped off and everything, so they're very pissed off about that. Tony said, well, we were never, TBS was going to always, air it on television. It was always supposed to be like this. Like, no, it wasn't. Like, this thing was booked last year, and it was supposed to be a massive stadium show. And it's not going to happen. They had to completely downsize it from, 52,000, and they had to downsize it to, I think, 12 to 15,000? Yeah, so of course people are going to be pissed off, and rightfully so. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Tony Khan is now realizing that he needs to get his shit together, because people are upset, and these fans aren't going to come back. And you don't even have enough common decency to give these guys their money back, to refund them. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it at all, period. But it is what it is. Moving on. So this leads us into Will Ospreay. He comes out. He gets on the mic. So he runs down Don Callis. He wants to know who his opponent is from the Don Callis family. Don Callis comes out. He says that this man is somebody who's very familiar with Will Ospreay, who he went up and down the road with. And it ends up being Mark Davis. Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis, the first match of the night. Will Ospreay defeats Mark Davis via the Hidden Blade. Match went on too damn long. It is what it is. Post-match, Kenny Omega... No, my bad. Will Ospreay gets on the mic post-match, makes fun of Don Callis and everything else. So then Kenny Omega comes out. And so Kenny Omega addresses Mark Davis. He says he didn't understand what Don Callis has over him at all. And basically, Omega does his usual shtick. And he talks about how it's been a long time since the people could really feel what he's been feeling. He said that now he's back to bring that feeling back. He said, after the match next week, people will realize the future of this company is not on the ramp, but inside this ring. And then he does his usual catchphrase. Bro, Omega, you're not the future, man. You're not. I like Omega. He's okay. He really is. But he's not the future, bro. No. Hell no. No, he's not. He's not. He's not. I think Omega needs to kind of call it quits. Like, come on, bro. You got, over 2 feet of your intestines removed. You might want to calm down, bruh. Seriously. And I doubt that AEW is going to even have a future. I'm not trying to be mean. If they don't get their act together and they keep dishing out a shit product, if Tony Khan doesn't think that Warner Brothers won't cancel them like Fox did to WWE for SmackDown, with their ratings being such dog shit, he needs to wake up and understand that can and will happen. I don't care how much money that you have. You are beholden to the networks. They're the ones that actually make all this possible. Tony Khan's just there to fund it. And he needs to understand that. If he doesn't get himself together, AEW will be canceled. I don't give how much money he has. I don't care. That means nothing. Because once you lose Warner Brothers Discovery, where do you go? Who's going to take on AEW? What major platform is going to take on AEW? What? And we're still up in the air on if their pay-per-views and stuff are going to even be airing on Amazon Prime. But that's supposed to be later on this year. I don't know, man. And we don't even know when we're going to get pay-per-views streaming on Max. We don't know when that's going to be. Probably, I would assume, all in. So, we got to wait another 5 months. So maybe that's when it'll happen. But I don't fucking know. But Tony Khan needs to get his act together. Moving right along. So, we get a video package for Swerve and Ricochet. That's fine. Moving on. The Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate, they show up. So, the crowd, they give the Hurt Business a really good chant. A really good reaction. The chant, "We hurt people." So, MVP says he wants to make this really quick. MVP gives props to Private Party. He says they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, going up against the Hurt Syndicate. He calls out the rest of the locker room, saying that if you're a champion, to look out. They're going to hurt you and take your titles. He says, in the meantime, business is open. If anyone wants to step up to the champions. So the Guns, they show up. They get a really good reaction, really good pop. And so the Guns, they show up. They introduce themselves. They're saying that they're ready to take back their tag titles that they've been waiting to get back for 2 years. Damn, so they've been champions since they were champions in 2023. I thought they won those titles in 2024, like early 2024. But okay, that makes sense. So MVP says that he respects their bravery, and more importantly, he respects their pops, because otherwise, those two would have already been choking out the Guns. But he's a businessman, so it's going to be the Hurt Syndicate against a couple of ass boys, which is pretty funny. So the Guns, they reinstate who they are, and they look to gain back their tag titles that they lost 2 years ago. And then they do the Guns Up thing. So, okay, cool, that's fine. That makes sense. This match is fine. I would like for them to build up some more wins and stuff, but who gives a shit? This makes sense. Do I expect for the Guns to win next week? No. I think the only logical team that could probably beat Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and actually be believable would be the Hellhounds, Buddy Matthews and Brody King. I think that would be like the only realistic team that could beat the Hurt Business realistically. Just saying. Outside of that, there's no other teams left. There's none. Fuck no. There's nothing. There's none. Moving on. But that was a pretty good little segment. Moving on. So Renee Paquette, she's looking to talk to Mercedes Mone. So we actually hear from Harley Cameron's Mercedes Mone puppet, which is pretty funny. I like that. So the two, they have a conversation about Monet, about how she treated her last week, that being Harley Cameron. So Mercedes, she actually pops out of her dressing room. So Renee talks to Mercedes about Harley Cameron picking up her first win in AEW. So the champ is still a challenger for Grand Slam Australia. So Monet just runs down Harley Cameron. Okay, this is fine. This was a good segment. Harley Cameron is great. This was an excellent segment. I loved it, what she did with the puppet. I loved her ventriloquism. Excellent shit there. Really, really good stuff there. I love this. This was tremendous. I am over Mercedes Mone. It's coming up on a year. In March of this year, it'll be a year that Mercedes has been officially with AEW for 1 year, 1 calendar year. And I am so fucking tired of her. She is like this bitchy Hollywood clown. I don't know what type of ego that she has, but she needs to lose it, and it needs to be deflated real quickly. Because Mercedes right now sucks. Like, she sucks. Like, her career in WWE was way better under Triple H and Vince. What she's doing now is just total trash, man. Total trash. And I mean, Mercedes is a good worker. Don't get me wrong. She's a good worker. But damn, like, she has to do better than this. Like, not good. Harley Cameron, mad props. Good stuff. Good stuff. Moving on. So, Renee Paquette, she's backstage. She wants to talk to Hangman Adam Page about the Texas Death Match. So, Hangman, he's about to address the situation. Max Caster, he interrupts. Hangman Page was needing... So, Hangman Page said that... No, my bad. So, Max Caster showed up, and he wanted Hangman Page to take out... my bad. So, he liked what Hangman did to Christopher Daniels by taking him out. He wants to see if he can do the same to Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn. So, Hangman is going to offer Max Caster a trip to the hospital instead. So that's fine. Who really cares? This leads us into Kyle Fletcher and Tenosuke Takeshita versus the Hounds of Hell, Buddy Matthews and Brody King. Okay, a little match there. Solid 50-50 back and forth nonsense bullshit. So Kyle Fletcher and Tenosuke Takeshita, they get the win via the assisted brainbuster for the 1-2-3. That's fine there. All right, makes sense. So Buddy Matthews was distracted because Okada's music hit. It didn't play into the finish, but it is what it is. Moving right along, so we get some patriarchy stuff. No, my bad. We get some Samoa Joe and Hook stuff. So both of them are on the hunt for Christian Cage backstage. They show up at their locker room, and they beat up Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian's still there? No. Basically, Christian Cage, he was being comical, so he was hiding like he didn't see it and all that stuff. And then he's like, well, what happened to you guys? This was okay, but I wish that Samoa Joe was in something more meaningful. He should be focusing on trying to become AEW World Champion. I would love to see Samoa Joe versus Mox. That would kick major ass. Samoa Joe is still a badass. He can still go. That Hawaiian shirt, though, nah, bro. That ain't you. That ain't you, Samoa Joe. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. That could have been a Tony Khan idea. I don't know. But Hook, I've been on record saying that Hook needs to go back to... I mean, my bad. Not go back. But Hook needs to go to NXT. It's time. Look, enough of him being in AEW. He's been in AEW for about a good, 4 years. He came into AEW in, 2020 or 2021? I'll say 2021 he came in. Well, I think he came in late 2020. Anyway, he's been there about 4 to 5 years. It's time for Hook to go to NXT and let Shawn Michaels work magic with Hook. Seriously. Because this ain't it, man. This ain't it. This shit's not over. Moving on. So MJF, he shows up. He gets a mixed reaction. He gets on the mic. He's about to talk about how he had to teach Jeff Jarrett a lesson last week. He says the E in All Elite Wrestling stands for elite, not elderly. He calls him a corny schmuck. Now that he's out of MJF's way, he can focus on getting back the Triple B. So then Max Caster, his sorry ass, shows up, tries to hide from Hangman Adam Page. Hangman shows up. Him and Max have a brief little stare down, and then he chases Max Caster through the crowd. So then MJF, he's about to get on the mic again, but Dustin Rhodes shows up. Dustin Rhodes tells MJF to shut his stupid trap. He runs down MJF for making his remarks for the past few weeks. He tells MJF to keep Owen Hart's name out of his mouth, or Dustin will kick his teeth in. So Dustin continues to say and tell MJF to stop talking about people's wives and running people down for their past drug issues. As it's something that Dustin has been through. He said he's 16 years sober and he's been through hell, but he knows that Max is not the devil. He's not, Dustin says he's the last of his kind, and when he's gone, the mold will be broken forever. He's better than MJF, and he freaking knows it. So, basically, MJF then mocks Dustin, saying that it took him 37 long years to get from under his dad's shadow. Then Max continues on by saying, after all that hard work and sacrifice, now Dustin lives in the shadow of his little baby brother. And then so him and MJF have a little pull-apart brawl real quick. MJF then low blows Dustin in the nuts. So I like this. This is really cool. I'm glad that Jeff Jarrett was not there this week. I still think that this is going to be the plan for Revolution. It's going to be MJF versus Jeff Jarrett at Revolution, and then from there, they'll probably do the Hangman and Adam Page feud, start that feud probably at Double or Nothing. It maybe ended at All In July, so that's probably what they'll do. But this makes sense, I guess. This makes sense. Moving right along. So, this leads us into Queen Aminata versus Mariah May. Not really, though. It's Toni Storm. She's cosplaying as Mariah May, and she did a fantastic fucking job. This was great. She had it all. Mariah May was out there on commentary. She said that Toni Storm is missing, she's flat-chested, saying that, she doesn't have big titties. But Toni Storm does have that ass and them thighs. And so Toni Storm wins with Mariah May's finish via the Mayday, which is great. And post-match, Toni Storm insists that we call her Mariah May. She mocks Mariah May. She said that she's the woman from hell, stepping on the neck of the women's division. So, this just pisses off Mariah May. I like this. Really good shit. Excellent stuff. This was fantastic. This and Harley Cameron, that was good. This right here was a good segment for this show. Moving on. So, Dustin Rhodes is going to challenge MJF next week. He said it's going to be on next Tuesday. He misspoke. We know it's going to be on Wednesday. Dynamite's going to be on Wednesday. All right. Moving on. So we get another New York Minute. This was whack and lame. So Chris Jericho talked about Bandito, and he talked about Will Hobbs. And then there was a massive brawl that broke out between Will Hobbs and the rest of the Loaning Tree. Who gives a fuck? I don't care about any of this shit. Moving on, let's listen to the main event of the evening. Ricochet defeats Swerve Strickland via the Spirit Gun. So, Ricochet attacked Swerve before the match with a steel chair a couple times. And then they did their regular spam false finish stuff match that they were always going to have anyway. So Ricochet got the win, like I said before. Swerve was going to go for the Swerve Stomp. Ricochet hit the low blow, followed it up by the Spirit Gun for the 1-2-3, and that was it. So this makes sense. Obviously, they're going to run it back at Revolution, and maybe they'll end their feud, I would imagine, at Double or Nothing, but that's in 3 months from now. That's in May. So I don't know if they want to go that far, but I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the last that we've seen of Swerve and Ricochet. I almost said MJF. I'm sorry about that. So Dynamite was okay. Like I said, I love the women's stuff. I love the Mariah May, Toni Storm stuff. That was great. I love the Harley Carmen stuff. The MJF, Dustin Rhodes stuff was pretty cool too. Again, we all know it's going to lead to MJF and Jeff Jarrett at Revolution. I don't care about the Death Rider shit. It almost seems like Edge is just fighting a losing battle. It seems like Tony Khan is just dead set on really allowing this landmass storyline to continue to carry on for another 5 months until All In. And it's going to be Darby Allin going to be the one to dethrone Moxley. We can't fucking do that. We can't. We have to take a drastic course of action, a drastic direction change, a change in direction for sure, because it's just not good, man. The storyline sucks, man. Storyline sucks. Apparently, AEW is looking to bring in Elias, apparently. I don't understand why. Why would they bring in Elias? That would make no sense at all. You don't need to bring in Elias. We heard the same thing about them bringing in Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey has not been seen on AEW television at all. Not Dynamite and not Collision. So, obviously, they're not bringing him in. If I was Elias, I would turn down AEW. I would immediately go to TNA. To me, that would make the most sense. But it is what it is. But AEW continues to flounder, like big time. But Tony Khan has himself to blame. And Warner Brothers, eventually, in due time, they will cut AEW off the air. AEW will eventually be canceled if their ratings continue to plummet. Again, case in point, SmackDown and Fox. That partnership didn't last long. Didn't work out long. They didn't renew them. Why? Because the ratings continued to plummet. And they lost. And they didn't get their return that they thought they were going to get on their investment. But it is what it is. But what did you guys think of Dynamite? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.